Hello, everyone. How are you? I am Violet Lee, and I am looking at you very seriously because we are going to have a very fun topic today. And then with me, and is 师傅 David Wei, and he is really busy because he is making a fresh pot of tea, and I have my tea here. My tea is very pretty, right? It has chrysanthemum and also and jasmine tea. And there's a red flower. I'm not so sure what it is. They came in a tiny, tiny little package like this. And then when you pour hot water in, and they open up. So, and as I mentioned, we are going to have a very fun discussion. Are we, David? Are we going to have a fun discussion today?
I'm not a fortune teller, but I observe patterns. And
No.
judging by last conversation, yes, this will be fun.
Okay, great. And I noticed you cut your hair, right? I always know you have a long hair and then you have a
Mm,
bounce or whatever, but now
yeah.
your hair looks much prettier than mine, and I am jealous. You have a lot more
Wow.
hair than I do. So
Wow. Well,
so
shout out to my stylist, Jared.
okay, okay. So um, actually, it's your great idea. We're going to talk about lineage, right?
Yes.
And then, so first of all, what is lineage? And I know you have a great lineage, and you
Yeah.
went to the Wudang Mountain, the
Yeah.
beautiful mountains, and in China, and then you study with masters, and so you have a like I say a very good background in your training, and in the Chinese martial arts or healing arts, a lot of time we say you have a very good lineage. So
Mm.
exactly what lineage is all about.
Great conversation. And you're actually touching on two topics. That's the exact same topic.
Okay,
And you asked me one
enlighten me,
thing.
please.
First thing you noticed was my hair.
Yes.
Right? And then you also talked about lineage, and it's the same because Wudang, our lineage, we had long hair. And
Yeah. How dare you have short hair now?
and I tell
Does
you
your
what,
sifu know that?
he doesn't know I cut it this time. He knows I cut it one time before. One time before, Guangtou, I cut everything. I buzzed it off because I took on my tea master. I'm sitting at his table now, peace be upon him. He died in 2019. But Master Wong, my tea teacher, he made me shave my head. And
Because of
so,
you don't want
yeah,
any hair drop in your tea.
no, well,
What was the reason?
there's a number of reasons. But the two biggest ones would be a hygiene thing, and
Okay.
two would be kind of like an attachment, ego identity attachment type
So
thing.
just let go.
Yeah,
Let
yeah, yeah.
go. Let go your pretty
And
hair.
I'm also sure that my teacher, he was very proud. And so he probably got a kick out of being a Buddhist and converting the Taoist.
Oh,
And
okay.
so, peace be upon you, Master Wong, I love you. But he was spicy. And so, for me to cut my hair was a really, really big deal. And I remember I did that in 2017 at Baisha. I took on Master Wong as my tea master, and I shaved my head. And then in 2018, I go to Wudang with a bald head. My shifu was not happy. He did not like it at all. Because in Wudang, in the temple, that's your pecking order. We don't cut our hair. We just let it grow and grow and grow. And it's very common in our school. Everyone has long hair, man, woman alike. So when I cut my hair for my tea master, ooh, my teacher was very, very mad because I'm a very high-ranking student. I'm a
Yeah.
high-ranking disciple. And
So
then
here comes a very interesting things, and a few
Mhm.
things you just mentioned. And first of all is the tradition in that whatever that school is or your teacher thinks. And then, but also you mentioned that you're the lineage holder of a Wudang sect, right? And you also now a lineage of your tea masters. His how should I say his tradition. So exactly what lineage is all about, and so you want to give a general how should I say
great, great
explanation
conversation.
about why we have lineage, and do we know or do you know any other culture and they have lineage? I think that Japan or um,
Mhm.
Korea, they probably have lineage. And because their culture in many ways is modeled after Chinese. And
Uh-huh.
so it's very similar. But I don't know if in the Western, like European, I think that they have a so-called apprenticeship.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
but I don't know if they have discipleship, like
Mm.
we're talking about here, the lineage.
Yeah. Well, you're absolutely right in the mentor-mentee, the apprenticeship tract. I remember when I was in college, we were all encouraged to have mentors for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Yeah,
And
it works the same. Yeah.
uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, definitely in the medical field, definitely in law. Uh, Perhaps it's not as common, I guess, but in academics, having mentor in business, having mentors is very, very common. And with regards to ancestry too, at least in modern times, I think it's really popular in the scope of 23andMe, ancestry.com. Everybody wants to know where they come from now, and at least in the medical field with a genetic predisposition, we're looking at our DNA. And so that's ancestors, right?
Yeah, I think that you put it in a very nice way. Um, I was born actually in China, and I grew up in Taiwan. So I do know a thing or two about some of the Chinese traditions and
Mm,
in the Chinese culture, and many area. And then we have this so-called discipleship and martial art, healing art, or Chinese medicine,
mhm.
and then even like you mentioned, like in the tea and that kind of art and craft. And there's also the so-called discipleship and the lineage. And I I think part of the reason is, and this type of art and craft, you don't go to a university for that. You learn from somebody. Um, it's a handed down art, and there's a lot of interaction with your teacher, and then you learn the art and you do it the way it's supposed to be, right? Is that
Yeah,
the what you get when you stay 5 years in the Wudang
for
Mountain?
sure. Now, this might be a difficult conversation in the direction I'm going to take it because I'm of the belief that China doesn't have a true tradition right now. I think there's a romanticized tradition. I think there's an idealized tradition. However, I'm of the belief, and I could probably get in trouble for saying this, that China has a tradition of trauma. And allow me to elaborate. What I mean by this is in Kung Fu, we train hard because my teacher trained hard, and his teacher trained hard, and his teacher trained hard. Notice that his, those teachers hard. We all trained hard, and my teacher trained me hard. He was mean to me, and so I'm going to be mean to you, and my students are going to be mean to them, right? And everybody's mean to every, and very strong
Well,
discipline.
not necessary. They're
Hold on,
very strict. They're
hold
very
on, hold on,
strict.
hold on.
Okay, you got a mean
Yeah,
teacher. I
hold
got a
on.
strict
No, no, no,
teacher.
no, no, no. 稍等，稍等，还没说完啊。I'm not finished. This is the stereotype, correct? However, when you see the schools, Wudang, Shaolin, hundreds, if not thousands of people line up, everybody line up, perfect. This is not Kung Fu. This is military. It's the military that has everybody line up like this. It's the military that says, hey, you behave. Hey, you stand in line. Hey, you do it like this. Hey, you do it like everybody else. I believe in my transmission and my inheritance, I was fortunate enough to have a genuine relationship with my master. And maybe there's only a handful of us.
Well,
And
okay.
so in that, my Shifu treated me as me. Every day he took my pulse. Every day he looked at my tongue. Every day he gave me something specific to me. And then he looked at my brother and sister and he took their pulse and he looked at their tongue and he gave them something specific to them. At some point, the school got so big. Okay, now everybody line up. Okay, Shifu cannot take everybody's pulse anymore. Okay, now we have to implement a system. Well, what's the system? Military regiment system.
So, yes or no? To a degree, I agree with you. And nowadays, and the so-called discipleship are very different. And in the old days, and the teacher might only have less than a handful of so-called disciples. And now there are so many of them. But also, when you are saying a lot of people line up, and a lot of them, they are not disciples. They are students. This is the commercialism. It's a capitalism because there is a need in the society. People want to learn the art, so they will teach. So they don't how should I say, treat you as the disciple yet. And actually, this how should I say, happened to me when I first met my teacher, Grandmaster Chen Zhenlei, who is the 11th generation Qian style Tai Chi inheritor, and he's also the Qian family. Okay, the Qian style family. He born into that, is blood related. So when I first met him, I believe it is 2009. And I was very excited because I was learning Qian style Tai Chi from somebody else. And wow, here is the lineage holder. Of course, I wanted to learn from him. And I said, oh, and I want to become your deeds, means disciple. And then immediately, my teacher's wife, or Simu, we call him, and she said, "Oh, no. Nowadays, we don't do that. At the beginning at all. You can study with teacher, but it's not a disciple yet. It took me several years, and my teacher had his own standard. You have to meet certain criteria, okay? Then he will take you as a disciple. So the disciple is very much like your own children, okay? And so we call 师父, 师父. 师 means learning, 父 is father in Chinese. So when your teacher treats you that way, he really treats you as his son. Of course, I actually not too much younger than my teacher. And then in certain situation, say my teacher, he has disciples much older than he is. So it is not an age thing. It's how much you know the art. your knowledge, your skill, and your practice, and so forth. So it's that kind of relationship. So it's not everybody, and you study with, and then that's your sifu, right? And I'm pretty sure currently you probably have taught a lot of people. Are any of them your disciples?
Mm-hmm.
They are all your disciples?
Not all. Students are like the hairs of an ox, disciples are like the horns. And so I understand the distinction between the two.
Mm-hmm.
I,
But
I
a
even
lot
put,
of other people, they don't. Yeah.
yeah, and I have taken on disciples. I took on my first cohort in 2020,
Oh,
and
okay.
then I've recently taken on another cohort, maybe a year. So I have about 20 some disciples. Yeah.
Very good, very good. Yeah, I have taught Tai Chi and Qigong to a few thousand people, but I
Mhm.
only have two disciples as of now. And
Yeah.
again, it takes a lot. First of all, you have good relationship with the person. You trust the person will honor the art, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Of course,
So,
what are you going to say? Go
well,
ahead.
I wasn't going to say, I was going to ask. Of your 100 students, if not 1,000 students across the world of your years and years of teaching, you only have two disciples. I'm curious to know, what's your criteria? How do you choose them?
Well,
And then second would be,
uh,
what do you demand or request of them or expect of them?
oh, well, very, very good questions. And
Mhm.
I think if a person, um, they are not really serious uh, about the art, they just learn, couple forms, and then they may practice a lot, but at the same time, they never have the intention to share the art with others. And I'm not saying they are not a good practitioners whatsoever, but more or less, I think in a way, I'm following my teacher's tradition. That's my teacher's tradition. He would take somebody, as a disciple, uh, when the person has the full intention, keep learning the art, and also will share the art with the world. So again, the two-person, they've been instructors for years. They have been sharing, and they also and how should I say, both of them, they have very, very high integrity, and they never using the art to make themselves look great. That's not them. And they're very humble. And when we have, say, World Tai Chi Day, we have to organize an event. And there's no money in there. And there's all the volunteer work. And they will help with the event. But they never put themselves on the center stage. They will always let other people to shine. And then I just find these two individuals, Yan Xie and Qin Zhen, they're how should I say? Yeah, they're they are incredible people, and both are
Chinese?
scientists. And so
Yeah,
I'm
was
not
Zhongguo
saying.
Ren.
Yes, they happen to be Chinese. Yes, and so was my teacher's assistant, and maybe some people did it because I don't think my teacher uh, really keep track, who's doing what. But it's back a few years ago, like 4 years ago, and he said, you know what, you're good enough. You can take disciples because before it never even dawned on me. So then I did that, and so how about in your cases, and why did your teacher choose you, or you choose him, and why your disciples choose you?
Yeah.
because you're big and they scared of you.
Well, I became a disciple in 2007,
Uh-huh.
and that's of my Wudang lineage.
So
However,
did you study learning Wudang system already for a few years, or is the beginning? Because in the old
yeah,
days, a teacher will not teach anybody
for
unless
sure.
the person is the disciple. So
Yeah.
how is was your case?
Well, if I can back up a little bit, because
Sure.
we talked about owning multiple lineages. When I first started, it was a family system, true family system, Honolulu Dragon Gate. And that was the first system I inherited when I was 20.
Okay.
And that was from my first teacher, Bruce Chu. And then after inheriting that family system, I became a Shaolin teacher. I did all my basics. I did spring foot and I did long fist, and that qualified me to be a Shaolin teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And my Shaolin teacher, he wrote me the letter of introduction to Wudang. So before I went to Wudang, I've already inherited two traditions.
But when you say there's two things. One, you learned it, but sounds like the first one you were the lineage right
Mhm.
holder, but for the Shaolin, are
Second one, I
you
was I was considered a coach.
so with Shaolin you're not lineage holder, you're the coach, right? Because
Correct.
Shaolin has also a very rigid system, and they have an
Correct.
introduction. Yeah, things
Correct.
you
Hmm.
okay, that's clear. So
So
when you went to Wudang, then what happened?
when I went to Wudang, I was there for 1 year, and I was the first student to commit to such a long term. And I
Mm-hmm.
had told my teacher I had a whole 5 years ahead of me. Like I had planned to be there for a while, and I did. But that first year, I was at a lunch with my teacher, and we were, meeting with some government guy, and they were meeting, and the government guy, he was talking garbage. He's like, "Who's this foreigner? This Lao Wai? Is this your trophy? This tall Lao Wai that pays you big money to be here? That pays you big tuition? Is this your trophy student that you carry everywhere to make you look good?" This government was giving my teacher a hard time. And my 师傅 said, 这不是我的学生，这是我的徒弟." And in that moment, that's how I learned I was a disciple. I didn't know. And so when I heard, I was like, oh, I'm a 2D, and my heart dropped because that's how I found out. And uh, and then the guy continued to talk garbage. Like, oh, so you take on this foreign rich person, and he's like, he understands you, right? And so that's when the government guys go, oh, oh,哎，你叫什么名字？哎，你是哪里来的？你从哪？你是怎么家里怎么样的？你想家吗？
So
so
you're
he started,
saying the government officials start chatting with you once he realized you speak Chinese.
yeah, he turned his whole tone and started being nice to me, right? And then on the walk back to the temple after that lunch, uh, I used to write emails for my shrivel because my shrivel hated to do the English emails, so I would write emails for my shrivel. And while I was writing emails for my shrivel, he came up behind me and he put up my hair
Oh.
with dental floss and a pen. Okay. And then he took that pen before he put it in my hair, he wrote it on a post-it note, posted from the office desk. Zerong. He said, "This is your name." And he took the pen, he put my hair up. And I took a video of it, the selfie video. That was my disciple ceremony. Okay,
So in
2007.
comparison with my, it's very different.
Very heartwarming, touching. But I tell you what happened, okay? That's how my shufu started, the close relationship. That was 2007. In 2012, he had to officially put everybody in the books. And so I was already at home. I already started my own school. I already engaged with my fiance, now my wife and mother of my child. And so I'm already at home. He said, you better come to China and put a stamp on it, or else you will not be official disciple. If you want to be official disciple, you have to come for the ceremony. So he forced me
So
to.
what's your official
So I'm official.
ceremony? Yeah,
Yeah.
looks like. So how was your is there a ceremony? Was there a
Yeah.
ceremony?
And then so that ceremony was special. Oh my God, I got a sword. Everybody was in robes. Maybe about 100 some people became disciple that day. And
Wow. So he has
that was
quite a few disciples
that was
also.
the serious ceremony. But you know what? I was so mad because by that time I had already trained Wudang 7 years. By that time, I had already been disciple 5 years. By that time, I had already left, opened my own school. And then right next to me in line was somebody who had only been there that weekend who just paid the money. And so now I have the same discipleship that I worked my butt. I worked so hard for, and I honor and respect my discipleship so much. And then right next to me is a beginner who just pick their nose and come to Wudang and a Taurus figure.
So, well, one thing is, yes, some because of commercialism, because money talks, right? And we have heard stories like that, and in all different kind of lineages. So yes, sometimes people just say, this is lineage is garbage, okay, and then it's nothing. And of course, one of my Paichi brother, he was saying, it may make some sense to say, okay, because the disciple, it's a relationship. It's like a father and a child. So the child could be really bad, but if the father likes the person, so it's still his or her own business, right?
Mhm.
So yes, and we heard stories like that also, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I also, in my years of writing the articles, and sometimes, not say sometimes, I always, if I know somebody has certain lineage, I will mention in the article. And some one time reader sent me a note, like, this is totally rubbish, it's just stupid, and it sounds like something really important, but actually means nothing. But he might have a point, and just like you said, if a teacher and accept a disciple because of money, then that definitely is not earned by the hard work, like you and I. I actually studied with my teacher for several years. And then one day, and my teacher's wife, Simu, and called me up and say, teachers think you're ready if you want to apply for it. Okay. So because by that time I had been taking private lessons with him for quite a few years, and he saw what I was capable of doing it. So, but not saying everybody is done as the way you went through or me, and even though sometimes doesn't matter, but I still think lineage in certain way makes some sense, because remember last talk you and I had, and we were comparing the um, 5 animal frolics, remember? And then you learned that not from your teacher, but we clearly see the difference. And I did not learn the 5 animal frolics from my teacher either. I learned from Grandmaster Miao Fusen. Okay, he is a Qigong master as well as Tong Bei Quan. My teacher doesn't really do strictly Qigong, even though Tai Chi is a form of Qigong, but he doesn't do just Qigong.
I
So,
love
so
Tongbe. It's beautiful.
beautiful. I did not learn Tong Bei Quan at all. Okay, but I learned the Ba Duan Jing from Miao Fusen, Grandmaster Miao Fusen. So what I'm saying is, if we understand the different lineages and we can see the difference, we will understand why so and so would do like this way or talk like this way. It's because the lineage,
Yeah.
right? So I think at least for me, as since I'm a journalist, I interview a lot of people, and I see so many different styles and forms and whatnot. And to me, I have a better understand and appreciation why you do the way you do, and not like the way the other person do. And so that's just like say, okay, somebody they go to Julia school to learn how to sing and then how to play piano. And then certain people, they follow certain council masters and they play a little bit differently. And they have their, like a DNA, as you said. You can see that and you understand that better. What do you think? Or you still think it doesn't matter?
Well, I never said it doesn't matter, but
Okay.
I think that you have to have it first to say that it doesn't matter. If you don't have it and say it doesn't matter, trouble. But if you have it first and then say it doesn't matter, okay, I'll listen to you. However,
I like that. I like that.
even even in my own tradition, okay, so in my Shaolin school, everything has to be just right. Your foot has to be like this, your hand has to be like this, everything has to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's my Shaolin school. At my Wudang school, everything has to be appropriate.
Appropriate.
There's a difference
Give
between
me an example. What does that
great,
mean?
great. So there's a difference between perfect and appropriate. And so the Shaolin school is perfect. And even when I was in Wudang, a lot of the people that tried to be perfect
Mm-hmm.
hurt themselves because to be
We are all
perfect,
different. Our body structure
exactly,
is different.
exactly. And these Westerners that have longer legs, that have tighter
Mm-hmm.
hips, that have tighter shoulders,
Mm-hmm.
that have no waist rotation, and then they want to try and do traditional kung fu the perfect way, and they hurt themselves.
Well,
Whereas
yeah.
where
Go
in
ahead.
other schools, we allow modification so that we can do the same thing principally. It's the same.
Mm-hmm.
But this person is overweight. This person is short. This person is tall. This
Mm-hmm.
person is old. This person has broken leg. This person has frozen shoulder. And so it's okay for a 5 animal or a Tai Chi
Mm-hmm.
24 or whatever form to show up different relative to the person that's doing it. But in that Shaolin school, no, no, no. If you're going to line up and be 1,000 people, everybody do it the same way, you're going to be one of those students. No, no, no. It has to be perfect. Right?
Well, I think I don't know the Shaolin system there well, so I'm not really qualified to speak on their
Mhm.
behalf. Of course, in recent, uh, how many years decades, 2 decades or 3 decades, and a sounding system that they have these performances, right? They gear more to the performance. So I think it's a different. It may be also different from teacher to teacher. And in my system or my teacher system, and our emphasis has always been to the proper body alignment and based on the structure. Okay, that is important. It's not how high you can kick, how low you can squat down. It's never that. It's not about how hard you can punch. It's you understand the principles behind it and how to do it. And then when you and I, maybe we're doing the same form and look very differently because you have a much bigger presence and looks more impressive, right? And I'm just a petite person, so that's what my teachers school. That's so if you look at the so-called Chen style, and my teacher and is so-called one of the four um, uh, warriors, okay, and you look at all four of them, they all look a little bit different. That's their own style, just like Chinese calligraphy you have there. But when that what you have there is kind of like a running the 行书, okay? But even 行书, one person write maybe different than the other, but overall that's 行书. Just like my teacher and his cousin, Grandmaster Chen Xiaowang, they're all doing the Qian style, but they not exactly the same. And it was never, at least was not required to me, say, you have to be exactly. It is, yeah, I think it's also depends on the training. So I'm glad that in general, I think your philosophy and my philosophy is the same. It's what is the important principles behind it, right?
For sure. Well, then the next conversation, I think, then is what's our job then as lineage inheritors? Are we historians to say this is how my teacher did it and this is how we received it? Or are we invited to create our own style ourselves? Or is it okay for us to maybe evolve the art?
I
Because I
think
also
you
like
got an excellent question. I don't know what do you think, and maybe I should ask my teacher what he thinks in that area. Well, I do know my teacher. He created certain so-called the forms, but mostly is based on the same principles, and also a lot of the movements was already in the original four major forms. It's just choreographed a little bit different. And then I don't know if he ever created a form totally from new. I don't know. And for myself, and I feel because there's still so much for me to learn in the Chen system. So I am still learning. I think that you have a really good question. What I don't like is, this is not just happen in the West, just in the US. And there's some happen in China also. And they create their own styles, they create their own forms, they create their own things. And to me, to a certain degree, is for their ego. They create something new. They can put their name on it. Okay, so it's for their ego. And Confucius has a saying. Again, you can tell I'm very old-fashioned, right? The Confucius says he himself is 述而不作. 述 means he is recording, he's passing down. 而不作, 作 means creation. He's not creating a new things. Mm-hmm. And to me, at this stage of my practice, I feel I'm still learning. And I don't see myself as going to create a totally new movement. Yes, a lot of times for the teaching purpose, and also sometimes for performance. And people tell you, oh, we would like you to perform for us, at this beautiful art museum, but for 8 minutes. So then I have to think about, in that 8 minutes, how am I going to assemble different components in all these Tai Chi forms, and put these nice things, I think it's the most beautiful ones, together, and do a 8 minutes performance by myself or with my students. And I do this type of a creation, but I have not created a brand new so-called movement or a technique myself. In that area, I think I'm still a student. What's your take on that? I'm interviewing you, not you interviewing me.
No, this is a conversation.
Yes, I really enjoy talking to you.
Oh, now. Thank you so much. I love this too, because I have very progressive ideas. I have very radical ideas, but I also come from strong tradition and strong lineage. And so I think I understand both worlds quite well. And so I love these type of conversations where we can kind of challenge our ideas and our values. So thank you.
Well, also you have exposure to other martial arts besides Wudang system. You learned Shaolin, and you learned the first one, right, Teacher Xu. So yes, you may be inspired to do something differently. You have that knowledge, but for me, I'm trained mostly in the Qian system, and plus Qigong. So it's different. And I think that it's good that, people like yourself, which has solid background. And then if you have the idea, especially we're in the 21st century, and we know if you want to train somebody, the traditional art, it takes years of dedication. Nobody is like David Wei, or maybe Lindsay Wei.
No,
I know she's not. I don't know if she's. I know she's not your sister, but you guys crazy. You guys just gave up the whole life and went to the mountain and for several years and to learn, and that really takes so much out of your life to dedicate to the art, right? Yeah. And I think people with this kind of knowledge and experience, if you think you can create something which is really suitable for the 21st century, this kind of busy lifestyle, really go for it, right? But at the same time, I have seen a lot of people, they call themselves grandmaster or whatever. And one time was really funny, and a student of mine, he sent me he sent me these kind of things all the time. He said, "Hey teacher, what do you think about this guy?" So I click on it. This guy was on the YouTube, and he called himself great grandmaster. Great grandmaster. It's like What kind of title is that? I never heard that. Great grand, yeah, maybe just one great grandmaster. So it's like this
Well,
person's ego is the whole universe, right? Or he was just trying to fool other, either fool himself or fool other people, right? It really
well,
doesn't make sense.
I guess technically a
Mhm.
master has a student, a grandmaster students has students, a great grandmaster students has students has students. So I
I
guess
never heard that. So it's
technically, I'm a grandmaster. Technically, you're probably a grandmaster. Technically, you've taught teachers, right?
well,
And
I have taught a lot of teachers. Yes, I have trained many, but so
technically,
yeah, so you
Grandmaster Violet Lee.
so you so you so it's like, okay, if I'm a grandmother, and then my grandchildren have children, so make me great grandmother, right? If my great grandchildren have children, then make me great grand.
Right? Technically. But are
well
you really
well
great grandmaster? What does that mean? Right? And
well
different.
you know, but I don't know, I beg to be different. I think besides, you accept a disciple, and then you have a disciple have disciple, but it doesn't really say. I think when people call someone grandmaster, then it shows the person really has very supreme knowledge,
Mm.
and then has done a lot of things in that area.
Mhm.
And I think it's it's a accomplishment. Not by I have a lot of children,
Mm.
you know, and that make the person great. Like I know somebody of my age already great grandmother, and but I think it's different. I think that this is it's not a shows the you know the yeah, how many kids you produce.
Mhm.
But it's also it's the true accomplishment and knowledge and skill, and that make them the difference.
Yeah.
And I think that also should be coming from the recognition uh, from the community or the industry,
For sure.
instead of
Yeah.
you call yourself that way. And I don't know, I'm old school. I just don't think that was right.
I agree. For years, I refused to be called Sifu. Even now, it's still a little
But you
embarrassing.
I think sifu is a more common term in my mind. Sifu just means a teacher, but for you, I call you a master. Yeah, I think you definitely qualify for that. Yeah, so
Perhaps. Well, I also agree with you in that there's shifu and shifu, right? There's the cook
mhm,
at the restaurant, shifu. There's the taxi driver, shifu. And
mhm,
then there's my father, shifu, who's invested in my potential, who wants to see me grow and achieve something, shifu, right? And
yes.
so that's more the father, right? And so
Well,
I should,
actually there are two different in Chinese pronunciation. It all sounds 师傅, but actually in writing there are two different kinds.
of
You
course,
say you're saying like the chef who is very good, cooking. We can um, how should I say, respectfully address them as 师傅, but that food is not the same as the father
understood.
type things.
明白.
So yeah, and
Mhm.
of course,
Mhm.
when you're
So yeah,
writing,
you can call me Sifu like the chef, sure. But for Sifu like the
are you
father
really that
figure,
good? Well, I know you are a 无当师傅, as a person has a
for
lot of
sure.
knowledge and skill. but I don't know about your cooking. You never treat me to your house. How would I know you can be called as cooking 师傅? Come on, right?
I'm joking. I meant shifu in the sense like the chef or the taxi driver or the baker, right? Sure, I've mastered a skill or I've inherited a skill, but in terms of have I touched your life? Do I relate to you as a father figure? Please don't call me shifu like that. That's embarrassing for both of us. So shifu, sensei, all of those titles for years, I refused. Even when I started my own school, it wasn't until 2020 when I took on disciples of my own that I was like, okay, I have disciples. These guys, these 12 students, you guys can call me Shifu because you guys are my disciples. No one else. It's weird. Right. But then it just, like you said, in the community, it still happens. People just address you as
Yeah,
such.
so a lot of times 师傅 just means the teacher in the West. At least that's how I treat it. But
Yeah.
but again, I think you definitely deserve the title as a master. Okay, that's just. And now I know how to aggravate you. I just keep calling you 师傅 David, David, 师傅 Wei, 师傅
Okay.
David.
Yeah, yeah. Then you're Shigong Violet. Yeah.
No, wrong. Gong is for men. I'm not a man.
Yes, 是奶啊。我们的
Yes,
是公是事业，怎么叫你呢？是奶啊，师婆，奶奶婆婆。
I'm just violent. I'm just violent. You are so naughty. I think our conversation needs to end now.
No, how much time do we have left?
We only have 5 more minutes left.
No, because I still
No,
didn't cut my hair.
that's right. How dare you cut your hair? Tell me
Yeah.
about it.
So I cut
Just
my hair
because
off.
I know I'm going to write to your teacher and tell him because you're mad at him taking somebody to clean the nose, pick the nose. So you cut your hair.
No, I cut my hair this time. I cut my hair the first time because I took on the tea master. When my tea master died, I grew my hair back up.
That's right. Yeah.
I cut my hair off this time because my son has really long hair. And everybody thinks my son is a girl. He's only 5 years old. And so he hates to say, hey, I'm a boy, I'm a boy, I'm a boy. So he wanted to cut his hair. But then he didn't want to cut his hair because he's scared. So I cut my hair first.
Oh,
So
a love story. I like it.
Yeah. The other reason is two reasons. That's the first reason for my son. The second reason is because I do jujitsu now.
Oh,
right?
Look at you.
Yeah. And so talk about the art. And I like what you said earlier about disciple. They practice the art and they share the art, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so in all my years of Wudang, in all my years of practicing Wudang, we don't get on the floor. We don't fall, we don't tumble, we don't roll, we don't, and in Tai Chi, I'm a lineage and holder for Tai Chi. Outside of snake creeps low or Zhao Bao Tai Chi under the table, we don't get low. We don't go on the floor. And in all my years now of teaching, many of my students, they don't want to fall. Oh, teach me balance. Oh, teach Tai Chi for balance. To balance, I don't want to fall. I'm scared of falling. And then the more I teach balance, the more they are scared of falling. And so instead of teaching balance, I want to teach you how to be friends with the floor. And then now that you are friends with the floor, your hips are open, you have different center of gravity, you're not scared of falling. Oh my God, my balance is better.
So, there's another system, the Russian system. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Sistema.
Yes.
I practice that one too.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. So yes, and somebody say, and when they practice that, and they're no longer afraid of falling because
Yep.
they know how to fall.
Yep.
They
Yeah,
know how to
exactly.
fall. Okay.
Yeah. And then I tell you what, when I found my jujitsu teacher, he said, number one principle of jujitsu, posture, position, relaxation. And I said,
That's then.
that's Tai Chi.
Yes.
That's Tai Chi.
Yeah.
And so when I had the aha that I'm not learning jujitsu, I'm doing Tai Chi on the floor.
So you know what you really should create something because you're still young. Okay. You
Well,
have that vitality, you have that creativity, and then you have exposure to all these different art. And pick the best and put
well,
together. Some
thank
for
you.
older people, some for younger people, because a lot of younger people and they don't have time to do something so slow like Tai Chi Chuan. And also, they don't have the time to train for years. So I think I have the idea for you, at least two different things, one for older, one for younger. I think you can do it and you can do very well.
Well, I like what you said. It's not make something. You said something, pick the best. And that's what I've done. Of all the things that I've learned in my curriculum for my school, and yes, I have something for the old, I have something for the young, I have something to
Mm-hmm.
optimize, I have something to heal and recover, I have something for meditation, for spirit. We have big curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
But it's stuff that I pick. I didn't make anything, but I have a value of harmony of heaven and earth. I have a value of show up, shut up, add value. I have a value of these principles. And so
Mm-hmm.
I pick the things. My Tui Na has the same principle. My Tai Chi has the same principle. My
Mm-hmm.
Qigong has the same principle. My Tea has the same principle. My Jiu Jitsu has the same principle. And so, in effect, I'm still practicing the same art, even though I cut my hair.
But that's a really a love of the act of love. That's
Mm.
so good. It's just like some husband shaved the head because the wife has breast cancer, right?
No.
So and I think that this is so meaningful because your son is young and he definitely needs that the companionship and oh that's so lovely. You know
Yeah.
what, David? I really enjoyed our conversation, and this is so much fun. And I always learn something from you. Okay, and but I have to get ready for my next class.
For
Okay,
sure.
so everyone, if you're out there watching this and you like it, and please drop a note for me and David. And also, you can share with your friends and family and put a like, a thumb up. And if you don't like it, thumb down. That's okay too, right? You're
Yeah.
entitled to your
Yeah. Yeah.
own opinion. If you
Yeah.
don't like David's hair or my hair, forget about my
Yeah.
hair. Okay. You can,
Hey, can I finish with one last saying then? Because,
okay, go,
yeah, I will finish
go.
on this. Okay, it'll be quick. When I first went to Wudang, I was writing for Kung Fu magazine, Gene Ching. Okay,
Oh,
shout out
yeah,
Gene.
yeah, sure. I
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
Jim.
And so here I am, Wudang, and I'm gonna write article about Wudang Tai Chi, and then I'm scared. I don't want trouble. You Chen people very aggressive. You Chen people think you create Tai Chi. But we Wudang people, we think we create Tai Chi. And then so if I start writing articles, say, oh, Wudang Tai Chi, I'm scared all the Chen people are gonna come attack me.
You better be. You better be. Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And then so I tell Gene Ching, I said, Gene Ching, I don't want to write an article. I'm scared. And Gene Ching said, hey, this is world of Kung Fu. If you say something and nobody gets mad, you didn't say anything.
I love that. I need to go talk to Jing Jing. And yeah, he went to Shaolin for some
He
training
is
also.
traditional Shaolin 弟子. Yes.
Yes, he is. Okay, well, David, thank you so much, Master Wei of
Grandmaster Violet.
No, 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 don't do that to me. That's bad. Okay, so anyway, thank you so much. Okay, and I'm going to turn the recording